Hello folks, it's JDporkchop. Welcome to another episode of Surviving Space Engineers. So, last night I stuck the new series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine on and welded this thing up. It took me 4 hours. My little drone was definitely cut a lot of that time off, but wow did it take some welding. And that's what I really want to talk to you first about today. A few times we've mentioned about putting mods in, and one or two people have actually requested that I start adding mods, and I think we're now at that point. I've done over 10 episodes in vanilla. We've made some good builds, but I think we're at that point now where the game will get better if we add mods. So I'm putting this up on Wednesday. I want anyone who has strong feelings for or against to stick a comment in. You know, there's only about 20 people or so that are watching this series, so if you know the most of you are really strongly against or really strongly for, then that's going to temper my decision. But the mods that we'd be adding would be the one that changes the minimum speed of ships. We'd add probably some mods that add more NPCs, more enemy NPCs, so we'll have more things to shoot at. And then with that, we'll probably add some more of the weapon mods, you know, bigger guns and, you know, the big battleship guns and stuff like that. And obviously I'll create a list so that you guys know what's loaded on. Some of the others we could go for would be things like, let me think, stuff like decoration mods, you know, stuff that adds more flavour to the builds and things like that. And then the last one that we would do that would help big builds like this, I mean we've got some really big builds coming up, would be the nanite bot mod. So any feelings for or against, feel free to stick them in the comments, and we'll kind of go off of that. So this is it. This is it finished. I am going to stick this in the Steam workshop and put a link down below so that you guys can use this. As I said in the last episode, this is a build that I made a long time ago, and it works. It's a good build.
No station fuel.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the batteries off of recharge. Now I'm gonna save because if this thing drops out of the sky, I'm gonna be sad, and then we are gonna cut it off. So let's just quickly put a save in, and yeah, perfect. Whoops. Now the only things left to finish off are the reactors. But seeing as we don't have any uranium, it's kind of pointless. Oh, one thing I meant to mention, the projector that was here. When you're doing these kind of big builds, it's very easy to miss a block. If you actually go into the projector when you think you're finished, hold on, I'll put it back down again. Just very quickly. Seem to have lost the ability to press buttons. Where's projector? Very quickly, just show you this. Go here, go to projector. Yeah, so in this section here, once you have finished it, it'll say missing blocks, or so I can't remember what the text says exactly, but it'll tell you the blocks that you've missed. If this area is blank, then you have then all the blocks that you need are installed. So let's have a look. We are going to take this thing for a little spin. I'll go into third person. Right, battery 30 minutes. Now it is only on about 1/4 of a 1/4 of a load. So if we can get this thing fully charged, just off of solar panels on the base, and I think we'll probably install some hydrogen engines just for recharging. We'll put a switch and just sort of turn them on and off as we need them. Right, the option to empty out the rock, I think for now we're going to keep all the rock, because obviously we can turn it into stuff. But if you were just wanting to dig down into the rock to get the good stuff, get, you know, whatever particular mineral it is, do you know what we should do actually? We should line it up with this. Actually still keep just dumping it out. Okay. Ooh. Makes some seriously freaky noises. Right, let's move this out of the way. And parking brake off. I hate to say it, little buddy, but I think your days are numbered. Let's just whoop you off down the hill. Get you next to our little red buggy. You remember the little red buggy? I think it's been sitting down here for about 10 episodes. Battery's probably dead on it, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that thing's imposing in the sky, isn't it? Right. Let's see what we get. Right, so, let's do a before and after. That's what it currently looks like. And then if we just spin it around, and let's drop it down. Hello. Gotta be very, very gentle with this. Okay. Then you just inch it forward, and it'll eat away the side of the mountain. I have to go up a little bit. Now, if we turn the dumper on, they should start dropping down into our little... There we go. Don't seem to want to go where I want them to go. Some of them are. Let's just turn it off, to be honest. This thing's got a large cargo bay in the center, so that's what, 420,000 liters of rock. But it does fill up surprisingly well. Not surprisingly. It's got like it's got like 25 drills on the front. But yeah, as you can see, it just chews it away. And what you do is you just keep digging down until you get to your desired stuff. Just gotta make sure you keep it level. Doesn't like it being pointed up or down. There we go. And up. Now, I just gotta reduce my mining time considerably. To actually build this thing, although it took me 4 hours with welding, there was also about an additional 1 hour of mining with the little... well, actually, I didn't use the little buggy. I used my the ice miner. I took it up onto a flat bit of land and sunk it down and ate away the land. But it's... it didn't... It worked okay, but it definitely... it didn't like it. It doesn't like being taken across bumpy land. But that's not what we designed it to do. Right, let's go down a bit. Then we'll work our way back again. Then I think we'll move on to another project. What that is, I'm not quite sure yet. We have the big red freighter to build that we sneak peeked last episode, and that is still, that's the end goal. I think we'll probably be working on the base mostly today. Let's do one more. Just keep edging it forward. Actually, we can probably go down a little bit more. There we go. And just keep edging it forward. You know, the really cool thing is if you could write it's way beyond my level of skill, but write like a programmable block to teach this thing to just, you know, move forward 50 meters, drop down 1 meter, move back 50 meters, drop down 1 meter. You know, put a program like that in, and then let's have a look how our cargo bay is doing. Almost full. And then obviously we've got the drills as well. Okay. Just drop it down a little bit and start moving back again. Do one last little bit. There's the iron. Some of it anyway. Let's grab some more of that iron. Go. And the thing is you can just keep digging into the hole, and I've had this thing down deep in deep holes. As long as you just slowly work your way back and forward, make a big enough hole, you know, this thing will go down as deep as you want it to. Let's just get that little bit that's sort of sticking out, and then we're going to head back to the house base. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this. Just go speed things along. And as we were talking about in the last episode, I think the way we're going to be doing things is instead of actually resourcing our resources in space initially, I think we're going to be loading them up onto our big freighter that we're going to build and hauling them into space until we have the equivalent of this ship built in space. Otherwise, you know, we're just going to be like grinding all over again. The whole point of building these huge big contraptions is to reduce some of that grind. And go. I think that'll do. Whoa. Definitely takes a bit of wangling with the camera. Right, turn the drills off. So you can see that this made a hole roughly about the same size as that one took me. I mean, we've been working on this, what, 2 weeks? We've been living here, or a week and a half, 10 days we've been living here. So that's 10 days of mining. That's 5 minutes of mining, not even 5 minutes. So yeah, it's quite effective. Okay, now we just got to dock it. I've added a special little dock onto the landing pad area, especially for this ship. It makes such a cool noise when it accelerates. It's like something out of District 9, something. I don't know. Let's drop it down. And light it up. And as you can see, when we don't have any power issues, there's plenty of battery. Just means we're going to have to, every time we want to use it, we're just going to have to recharge it. I'm hoping that if the solar panels on the roof of this don't at least give it some charge, that the solar panels on the roof of the base will be enough to keep topping the battery up. It's going to be a little bit. That's not too bad. We're almost there. Down a little. Ta-da! And 6. Right, and then put that on charge, and it should be emptying out into the base. Let's go and have a little look down here. Should be, yeah. It's actually it's grinding it down so fast it can't keep up. So yeah, excellent. I'm very pleased with that. That's fantastic little mining ship. That's gonna a big mining ship that is gonna rip the side of this mountain apart pretty quickly. There's that ore vein That iron ore goes right down here. So yeah, we'll keep stripping away at this area. Right, on to the next thing. The base. So I keep chipping away at this, but I think we really need to sort of just plow in and get it finished. So we'll do a little bit of welding on screen, then a little bit of welding off screen. Right, so what do we need? We're going to need metal plates, which I probably don't have that many of left. Let's just... there we go. That'll do. So, I think one thing I haven't done is put any lighting in this, and as we now have most of the roof finished, it's got a bit dark. Also the fact that I put the tinted windows in. I'm very, very strongly considering ripping these out and putting the see-through ones in. But I'll leave that for now. Then this is going to be like a little hangar bay for a, I don't know, like a fighter or something. Or a couple of fighters. So, I guess we'll just start on the roof and finish the roof off. And while we're doing this, I'll think of something for us to talk about. My mind is kind of blank right now. I seem to have lost the ability to use the jetpack. But, yeah. I'll tell you one thing we could, I'll quickly say, is if you've got a good name for my new mining ship, feel free to stick that down in the comments as well. As long as you, as well as the comments about whether or not you're happy with me adding mods. Production tree. I have all of these set up, by the way, as with the assist. Where is it? Yeah, cooperative. So this one is the main one, and so if you put an order into this, oh no, that's not the main one. It must be that one. That one. Yeah. So if you put an order of, say, 1,000 plates into this one, it splits it up and makes all 4 of them do 250. So we now have 4 assemblers. We don't even have any speed modules on them yet, and this thing will just chew through an order. Yeah, well, there you go. I put 2,000 on for it to make it. It's already at 500. So that's good. So we now have the refining capability, the mining capability, and the assembling capability. The only thing we're missing is the actual end assembling. And that is why we want that nanobot mod. The other way I could do it is just building a bigger and better welding thing. I mean, that little drone, I think, has kind of come to the end of its useful life. It's just too small and it's not very. It's quite cumbersome, you know. But we always just built it as a little starter robot. And building something bigger and better, it's definitely on the cards. And as we talked about in the last episode, definitely want to build a printing room. I've never built one before, so that should be quite interesting. Not only as a project, but for something for me to learn how to do. I think we'll do like a little one for making fighters, little disposable fighters, maybe even some drones, combat drones, that we can just send out against our enemy. And if they get shot down, who cares? We just press a button and it makes a new one. So yeah, all these kind of things. We've got lots and lots of stuff to work on, lots of projects in the pipeline. I think our time on the planet is coming to an end. Inventory. But it's been fun. The reason, more than anything else, is there's just not really a lot to do down here. So anyway, that's enough talking for now. I am going to figure out what we're going to fill the last 10 minutes of this episode with. And while I do that, I'm going to weld up the roof. So I will be back. So what do you think? It's really getting close to looking finished. It's gone from being a building site to actually looking like a base. A few things I'm going to change. I'm going to take all the windows out and either flip them around so the tinted side is on the outside like it's supposed to be, or just change them for the non-tinted version, one or the other. It's quite dark in here, but we haven't fit any lights yet, so once we put some lights in here it shouldn't be as bad, and switching the windows should help. So yeah, in between this episode and the next one, I'm I'm going to get all of this finished, and then in the next episode we're going to work on the hangar side of the base and start finishing off the interior. And I thought for wrapping up this one, we are just going to do the last little bit of work on the roof. So I am going to put down a missile turret. I'm not going to bother with the interior turrets because you have to fill those by hand, and I'm not sure if I can be bothered with that. So need a small cargo bay. Now, I think what we're going to do is we're not actually going to have this hooked up to the rest of the base. I'm just going to hand fill that cargo container with like 200 missiles, and that'll be enough. There's nothing actually on this planet anyway to shoot at us. I'm just sort of putting this here for show. Although, if we do end up adding the mods that spawn stuff on this planet, then not only will we need this missile launcher, I think I want that one higher actually. Not only will we need this missile launcher, but we will need a lot more. You know, we'll really beef up the air defense. That's one of the reasons we have this this hangar on the other side, is, you know, and scramble fighters and that sort of thing. You can maybe even look at building a couple of combat drones that you know, press a button and they deploy into like a holding pattern above the base to defend it or something. It's all projects that are possible down the road a bit. Right, what do I still need? Some grids, some small tubes, a display. Okay, let's go and grab that. Do a little bit more, and then that's probably going to be us for today. Whoa, that was a bit silly. Right, pipes, a display. What else was it? I can't remember now. Grab some of those, I guess. Grids, I think. So yeah, feel free to add in the comments what you think about this, whether you like this build, what you'd like to see changed, any of that sort of stuff. Yeah, that looks imposing enough, I guess. The last thing I want to stick down, I have it here on my hotbar, is we're going to stick down a... Which way do I want it round? Yeah, that way, alright. Right, what do we still need then? Some more tubes. Wow, lots of tubes. Lots of tubes. Yeah, feel free to comment on what you think of the base, whether you like it, whether you hate it. That was my cat being a pain in the butt. He likes to pick the most opportune times to annoy me. Whether you, do we have any large pipes? Stick a few large pipes onto build. Where are they? There they are. Yeah, whether you want to see anything else additional added to this base before we start heading up to space. No, that was what I was working on. We did talk at one point about digging a hole here and having a tunnel going through, and then having like a hangar, like a dropping doors that open at the top in the roof, and that you'd be able to sink down into a hangar here. We did talk about that, and I don't know if we will. If there's, yeah, lots of people want to see it, then I'll do it, but I'm beginning to think that this base is not really going to be lived in that much. We also talked about putting a car hangar here for all the little buggies and stuff that we have, but once again, is there really that much point? I'll probably finish off the bridge, do the underside, finish the hangar, do the interior, and then we'll be ready to go to space and build something 3 times this size in space. What were we working on? We were working on this. So yeah, like I said, comments, feel free. Also, your ideas about mods, whether you want them, whether you don't, which ones you'd like me to add, etc, etc. Any name that you have for the Atmo mining ship, if you have a name for that you maybe like to see. And in a previous episode we talked about naming this little guy, and the only one that was added was Moisture Missile, and I'm sorry, I can't name it Moisture Missile. That's just ridiculous. But thank you very much for your input. Whoa, that was a bit stupid. So yeah, I think we're pretty much just going to wrap it up here, guys. Now that my hydrogen's emptied out, I'm going to finish off the base in between now and next, and then the next one we'll have a nice new project to begin. So if you've enjoyed this episode, feel free to give me a like, get commenting in the comments section, maybe consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.